You know the drill. I get dangerously high by myself, track everything I do on my notes app, and tell the story of the actual brain-rotting activities I get up to. But this time, there's a little twist. Before I got high, I texted my boys group chat to ruin me tonight. They could call me, text me, or just send whatever heinous dung they can at any time throughout the night that would mess with me or just make a funny moment. So here's what happened. After eating my special gummies, the first thing I wrote down in my notes was watermelon with no melon. I guess I found this video so impressive, I just had to share it. Anyways, let me set a scene for you. As the gummies came into effect, the first thought I had to myself was, I want my big Oreos. So I walk myself downstairs into my dimly lit kitchen, fill my favorite coffee mug with warm milk, and start solemnly munching on these porcelain big Oreos, one intimate bite at a time. As it turns out, I only had 3 Oreos in my bag, which left me with a real problem. I got no more Oreos, but so much milk. Without thinking, I trotted up from my seat, walked over to my little tree, and poured my milk into the soil as if it was water. It took me a minute to mentally process that I had given a tree milk until it finally hit me. Wait, no. Trees can't have milk. That's my favorite tree. What have I done? In tears, I frantically search on Google. What happens if a tree drinks milk? After a long search, I learned that milk is actually good for plants. Not just milk is good, but spoiled milk is too. It's actually a good way of making bad milk useful, so that was kind of interesting. Now I'm sitting here thinking about milk. I can't fully explain the thought process behind this moment, but I brought my ass over to YouTube and searched top 10 milk. And just watch this. Why is it so loud? Why would this be the intro to top 10 milk? Anyways, the first milk was Safeway, which isn't even milk, it's a grocery store. But I used to work there, so I commented, so helpful, plus I love Safeway. This comment was a little premature though, because after giving such praise 10 seconds into the video, I decided to skip to the end to see what is the world's greatest milk. This was a terrible mistake that turned all my praise into pure unadulterated rage. They said the best milk is Borden. Are you joking? You have to be smoking crack to genuinely believe Borden is the best milk there is. So rationally, I replied to my original comment with a nasty and hateful reply. As I hit send on the comment, my messages start getting spammed with a constant influx of this deranged dog image coming in from 5 separate people. There had been an organized attack on my iPhone messages, and the dinging wouldn't stop until I got a phone call from someone with no caller ID. I pick up the phone. Hello? And this is exactly what I heard back. Is this Borden? Do I need to repent? Do I need to repent for the sins that I spoke on your milk, Borden? And before there was a reply, my phone crashed from the constant dog images that were still going through that whole time. Holy shit, I made a terrible mistake. But then, as if God's light came shining down at me in my darkest time, as I turned my phone back on, the image of the dog had changed. He was so happy now, grinning ear to ear. It was a beautiful sight. Seeing him smile back at me gave me such a sigh of relief. So I felt I'd treat myself to a little Chipotle queso. I ordered from Postmates and the driver's name was Quentin. And I promise you, this is a detail that comes back. As I'm waiting for my Postmates, I go back on YouTube to see something that truly pissed me off. The video was called Strongest Energy Drinks Comparison, which I thought sounded pretty cool. I was interested in what the world's strongest energy drink was. I click on the video and every single energy drink has 320 milligrams of caffeine. Like, it does not stop. The drinks just keep going and they never change. I keep thinking to myself, oh, the next one's gotta be stronger. It's not gonna be 320 milligrams of caffeine, and it never is. I was blown away by the asinine shit this video was, so much so that I left a hate comment. And then I got a neighborhood watch alert from the Ring app that there was a shooting nearby. This was one of the best things that had happened to me this night because it gave me a great idea. If you didn't know, the Ring app has a feature where you can create a post that gets sent out to every single person that has the app in a multiple mile wide radius. I had never done this before, but just the thought to have that much power, sending a direct message to so many people at once, seemed a little too good to be true. But I wanted to figure out if I could do it, if it it was possible. First, I would have to figure out what the post was going to be. I thought back to everything that had happened to me this night. That dog with the massive grin. The Postmates driver named Quentin. Everything came together as I uploaded the dog image and gave it the title Dog Acquired and made my masterpiece. Dog alert, we found Quentin. Thank you everyone that helped look for Quentin, but you can finally stop because the search is over. Here he is, happy as ever now that he's home and safe. He must have gone on quite the adventure. I thought this post seemed pretty believable, and so did the people working for Ring, since my post made it through the auto moderation and was sent out to the public. This was a massive success. Not gonna lie, I felt pretty awesome after pulling off the Quentin scheme, so I went upstairs and ate more of my gummies. This would ultimately feed into a dark cycle though, because once I started playing Fortnite, in between every game, I would forget that I had eaten a gummy and I would go for more. I don't know how many of these I ended up having, but I had enough that I tragically forgot the Chipotle queso waiting for me at the door that the real Quentin had delivered for me so graciously. I was just like Drake off these gummies because after I ate all of them, I was out like a light. And that's the end of the story. Subscribe. Bye. The Benjamin to a stoner is the equivalent to a peasant's potato farm, meaning it's quite literally the bread and butter of our lives. Because of that, most people end up smoking them for their first time. But for me, this was my second time. I was posted up inside Big Bro Roderick's incredible house one winter evening. We both felt awesome with very impressive looks on our faces. There were supposedly big plans this evening because Roderick was like, I know these 4 people having the biggest, most awesome party tonight, which sounded grand, but there was one problem. Do I know these people though? No. Do they know me? Yes. And that was enough for me to be a little bit hesitant. I don't know, man. They could bully me. Don't sweat it, chap. One little dinghy off this port bow and you'll feel on top of the world. Holy crap, what's that? What is that? It's weed. Boom! This was a top 10 bomba-clot moments of my entire life. As I mentioned, I had only ever smoked one time before this, and the parasites in my brain were starting to speak to me. The same parasitic voices that tell me to peek corners in Valorant, gamble more money, and generally overextend on things I shouldn't were firing. Alright, Roderick, we've done this once before. I don't see the harm in going for a second. Oh god, it hurts so badly. You can't go crazy like that, bro. You gotta take your time. Oh, alright, I'll do it gently. Are you good, bro? Yeah. Alright, my boy, let's head out and drive to this shindig. As we start to drive, all this time in the car allows me to grasp the gravity of the situation I'm in. The world started to change around me in ways I didn't understand, and I felt an awe-inspiring feeling in my fingertips. I could not act right, and I started to go crazy until immediately locking in, because I was about to enter a home I didn't know with 4 people I also don't know. Hey, bro, if they see me like this, what do you think they'll think of me? Oh, I think you're gonna be all good, bro. Oh my god! I had a bad case of the poo-poo eyes from those Benjamin tokes. You look awesome, dude. You'll be okay. Just put on these cool shades and they'll be very impressed with your style. Whoa, I feel like I'm number 1, dude. So as we pull up to the house, there's only one single objective on my mind. I need to convince each of these people that I'm sober. Because if they see me high, they're gonna think I'm an addicted bum. We walk in through the front door and there's already a major fork in my plans. Roderick had actually brought me to the hose. I don't even know how to act around the hose when I'm sober, and those pen hits gave me slurp juice brain. Luckily, there was only this one girl named Sarah as we walked in, but I kid you not, she looked exactly like the Fortnite Sunstrider skin. God threw a level 10 baddie my way, and I started getting anxiety, but I couldn't forget the objective at hand. I can't let Sunstrider find out that I'm high. Yo, what's up, Sarah? This is Ninja.
Oh my god, Roderick has told me so much about you.
Alright, I can't mess up my first introduction. Yo, haha, that's awesome. Okay, that wasn't bad. Alright, I'm gonna go say hi to everyone else. Bye, guys. God damn it, now I'm all alone with her.
So why are you wearing those shades in the middle of the night?
Off rip, she's going for my weak spot. I gotta change the subject. Are you very impressed with my style? Fuck.
Yeah, you look really cool.
This is too stressful. I need to go somewhere to blow off a little steam. Alright, where's the bathroom? So we go upstairs and she shows me to the little man's room, and I start doing push-ups on the ground like, ugh, fuck yeah, ugh. I'm trying to get a little pump in an attempt to get my head back in the game. But while grunting and moaning on the floor, I can see Sunstrider's feet from under the little crack of the door on the floor. So hopefully she didn't get the wrong idea from my sounds. But I waste no time to text Roderick, I'm afraid of the hose, bro. In which he replies, don't worry, I'll clutch up for you. So as I leave the bathroom, Roderick comes upstairs with a deck of Uno cards and a bottle of vodka and starts telling us rules like, you two gotta drink every time you draw a card. Sarah, you go first. Bro is taking some big dog initiative in this situation. And then Roderick essentially just falls back down the stairs. Now I'm pretty much locked into playing Uno with this one girl at this point. But I start dicing her up with these draw fours like I'm a professional at this. And in no time, Sunstrider starts getting all bomba clot from the drink. She starts getting into all this girl talk like,
I fucking hate my friend Melissa. She fucked my ex-boyfriend last week.
and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. While I keep pulling out these draw fours like nobody's business. Somehow before I knew it, Sunstrider had inched her way to sitting right next to me. She starts taking whole swigs from the bottle and looks at me like,
You haven't drank anything yet. You can't be the only sober one.
let's fucking go! This whole time I had successfully masked the fact that I was high, and her saying that just confirmed it. So I take a celebratory swig, but then she starts doing some weird shiz, like putting her hand on my thigh like,
Fuck Melissa anyways.
but it turns out she drank more than she could handle because she couldn't control the volume of her voice, and she said that really loudly. Before we know it, this girl runs upstairs like,
What the fuck did you just say?
Turns out Melissa was at the party and heard everything. The two other girls come running up from behind Melissa, and a whole fight starts breaking out before I could process what was about to happen to me. Even this girl's little brother walks out of some bedroom. I didn't even know he was in the house, but he starts to get involved in this. I'm just sitting on the floor watching it all unfold until Roderick slowly walks up the stairs behind them and beckons me to come over to him. He's like, yo, I don't know what's going on, but we should probably leave. I'm down, bro. This place is getting a little too heated for me. So we sneak out the front door and drive away. I start telling Roderick about what happened with me completely washing this girl in Uno with no remorse for her soul. And he drops the biggest plot twist of the night. It turns out he had rigged the cards and made every other card draw in my favor so that the girl would drink more and make the situation less awkward with me. So if there's any takeaway from this story, take your time with the Benjamin because it hits very hard. Before you know it, you'll get anxiety from the hose. Sleepovers with the boys are sacred moments to see how many boundaries you can get away with pushing, even if it means overextending a bit. It's what makes it fun. This night, Roman Cole and I planned to push the 2 ironclad rules amongst the Roman household. Rule 1, no weed. His parents didn't even know he smoked at this time. And 2, no friends over on this particular weekend. We were to not only sneak the weed into his house, but also ourselves. Roman had just got a brand new PlayStation VR headset, and we wanted to experience the virtual reality while high, which posed for the riskiest activity of all. You see, this was his family PlayStation, meaning it was right in the middle of the living room, so we had to move at night when the family sleeps. Me and Cole stake outside for dusk to fall and Roman to give us the word. We had the weed in an airtight seal, a small pipe to smoke it, and some Febreze bottles to kill the smell. Eventually, we see the front door open. Roman gave us the signal and we slowly enter his house to not make a sound. We all make our way upstairs, walking past his parents' bedroom to get to our safe haven, Roman's bedroom. Objective 1 was complete. Now we had to complete objective 2, smoke the gas. So how are we gonna do this, man? I've got a spot. He opens his window and walks onto the roof. The 3 of us get to smoke under the stars as the calm before the storm. A moment of solitude before things take off. Once we're nice and high, we stumble back down to the window, probably almost die, and get back inside. The night was looking good. If we could complete our final objective to play VR, we could call this mission a success. We make our way downstairs and turn on the PlayStation, ready to experience this new world. We didn't want the smell of weed to linger on us, so we spray the Febreze bottle around the living room. But something all wise men know is not to give 3 high kids a bottle of Febreze. Since it's his house, naturally, Roman gets first first dibs on VR. But as soon as he puts this headset on, we start spraying him all around with the Febreze and watch him helplessly squirm. Before we know it, we had sprayed the entire bottle of Febreze, and this room was so smelly, it was completely unlivable. And this headset had speakers built into it too, which is important because Roman didn't realize how loud he was being. He was screaming. We hear a door slam and footsteps coming downstairs. Cole and I had to think fast before whoever was coming downstairs came down and saw us. So me and him run into the closet. Roman has no idea we left him behind because he can't see and can hardly hear. So if we tried to communicate to him, we would have just blown our covers. His mom comes downstairs like, "What the fuck is all this noise? And what's this smell?" Roman takes off the headset to see us gone, and he knows he's fucked. We have to listen to Roman get yelled at from this closet, and the situation is just awkward. But we couldn't concern ourselves with that because we had larger issues. It was inevitable that Roman's mom would take him up to his room, and that's exactly where the weed was. We had to act fast and somehow get from the closet to Roman's bedroom to out of the house without being detected. Luckily, the Febreze came in clutch because it made his mom stand in the kitchen and not the living room. This allowed us to open the closet door and hug the corner up the stairs undetected. We run to his bedroom and get the weed, and we're like, what in God's name do we do now? We couldn't go out the front door. The only escape was through his window and onto the roof. Me and Cole sit out here just talking about how fucked Roman is. Alright, as long as his mom doesn't see us or the weed, we should be good. But what are we supposed to do? Just sit up here all night? Well, at least we have the weed on us. So the two of us, stuck between a mom and a hard place, resort to smoking more. I mean, what else are we gonna do? Some time passes and we see a head poke out the window. Yo, Roman, are you good? But this wasn't Roman. It was actually his dad. The two of us are paralyzed until he talks. Yo, what's up, guys? What are you doing up there? He sees our weed and puts two and two together. You know what? I used to smoke weed too all the time as a kid. I don't want to freak you guys out. So he uses his dad magic to get us through the house undetected, drives us home, and we get out safe while Roman takes the fall for us. Okay, that's the story. Ring the bell. Bye. Listen, smoking can be fun and all, but anyone who's done it consistently knows that it can get stale. If you think about it, it probably makes sense scientifically. After you feel the same stimulus, you'll eventually grow jaded to it. But people who don't smoke almost always take the high experience in entirely new ways. So I decided to get a group of friends together that have never smoked to test this hypothesis. I don't have a lot of friends though, so it was only 2 people, so please don't comment on that. But my lucky individuals were the legend Cameron and my friend Jaime. Jaime showed up to my house first, and completely unannounced to me, he came in full Joker face paint. When I saw this, I got the feeling that this night was gonna be really funny or really scary for Cameron. I didn't know how he'd take this once he saw it hide. But eventually, young Cameron pulled up, and I gave the 2 of them edibles because they didn't want to hurt their little lungs. So while we're waiting for these to hit, I really start hyping the whole thing up to these guys. Alright guys, listen, this is gonna actually change your lives. This is gonna be the best experience that you've ever had. And Jaime was like, hee, I'm the Joker. And not even 10 minutes after consumption, Cameron swore he could feel it already. That was cap though. It was all placebo at this point, but he believed it with his whole heart. It didn't help that Jaime started gaslighting him like, yeah, you definitely feel it, man. I think I'm actually starting to feel it too. Holy fuck, I'm so fucking high. So Cameron lays on the bed thinking that he's already high while Jaime just starts getting into my PC. There was very little time before Jaime just opened Steam and bought Honey Pop with my credit card. Trust me, I didn't own this game beforehand. I got a little pissed because bro really thought he was the Joker and intruded into my things, but the game didn't cost that much, so I let it slide. The only thing I hoped for is that once this gummy hit Jaime, this game didn't make him go off and do something the real Joker would never even think of doing. After 30 minutes, these gummies actually started to hit Cameron, and he explained it was like it felt like he was driving a car. Bro is laying on his back with his arms up in the air like, oh my god guys, I'm going so so fast, I can't slow down. And as soon as he stood up from the bed, Jaime charged him holding a yoga ball, screaming, "Holy fuck, there's a car coming!" and launching Cameron back into the bed. Bro would not let Cameron get off the bed. Every time he tried to get up, he just got launched back to where he started. I was watching him get bullied before my very eyes, but I decided not to intervene. So after Cameron got launched a few more times, he started explaining how the impact of every crash was turning his insides into mush. He used the analogy that he felt like an orange that still had the peel intact, but the fruity inside part was smashed. This is when I decided to actually make an intervention, and I stole the yoga ball from Jaime. He was getting a little too in character with that Joker face paint. Jaime started throwing a little hissy fit and crying, so he walked away and started playing Honey Pop again. So I took the opportunity to really interview Cameron. "So Big Dog, explain to me how you're feeling, Big Dog." And bro started smacking his lips together super loud. This was some audible lip smacking until he explained, "My mouth tastes really good. Like, I feel like I don't have to eat anymore for the rest of my life because my mouth tastes so good." I'm like, "Damn, that's crazy, Big Dog." And upon further inspection, the reason that he felt this was because all the impact from that yoga ball made him bite his tongue and he was slightly bleeding. I didn't want to bring attention to all that, so my plan as the professional in this situation was to give him yummy food and hopefully he wouldn't notice the blood in his mouth. So I'm like, "Are any of my little boys hungry?" And immediately those two go feral. Those first time munchies hit hard. So I pull up the classic McDonald's Postmates and Jaime takes my phone like,
Let me pick what I want. I'm the Joker, baby.
"Chicken nugget, I want chicken nugget." I'm on it. Let's get some of these chicken nuggets. So Jaime starts spamming the chicken nugget button and orders 50 chicken nuggets to my damn house. As an empathetic individual, I knew the long wait for the Postmates to arrive would be harrowing and brutal for these two. I decided I needed a distraction so they wouldn't complain about it taking too long, mainly Jaime. So I pulled out the iPhone projector and started playing Five Nights at Freddy's Game Theory lore videos because I know Jaime loves those. After not even getting a few minutes into the video, I came to the realization this was actually a terrible mistake because it started to make Jaime genuinely tweet. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is the worst thing to ever happen to the series. What is Blood yapping about?
I don't know, man. I'm really hungry.
It totally has all the pieces for a dream theory to be true, but no. Is this like an issue? Like, should we stop him? I don't know if this is bad for
Why
his
is
health
the
or
Chica
something.
toy missing its beak?
I don't
What the fuck
know,
does any of that
man.
mean?
And what the fuck is Juniors? Why don't people realize FNAF 3 takes place in 2015? 30 years refers to 30 years since the original murders in 1985, not 30 years since the first game. That makes no sense. Luckily, the Postmates notification cut him off and it was chicken nugget time. Let's go. So we ran downstairs, got the food, ran upstairs, but as me and Cameron got to the bedroom, we decided we needed water with the nuggets so that we didn't choke to death. Before we went back downstairs though, I decided to snap a little picture of the scene in front of me because seeing Jaime and Joker face paint playing Honey Pop with 50 chicken McNuggets was something I didn't want to forget. But unknown to us, this would quickly become a top 10 moments caught before disaster image. So we go downstairs, fill up the water in the slow refrigerator faucet and head on up. And in that short amount of time, Jaime had eaten every single one of the 50 chicken nuggets. What the fuck happened to the nuggets, dude?
Oh my god, no. Why?
And he just stared and laughed. The worst part is he didn't even eat these nuggets because he was hungry. He ate them because he thought it would be funny if we came back and they were all gone. And considering that he ate 50 nuggets in the period of a few minutes, it didn't take long for Jaime to run to the bathroom throwing up. And honestly, he deserved it at this point. Bro has been acting a fool for hours. He deserves to feel some of the pain he inflicts on others for a change. Immediately after he finished at the toilet, he got right back to playing more Honey Pop as if nothing happened. He had a serious grind to commit to still. Cameron, on the other hand, wasn't feeling all that great after the nugget disaster. Bro was crying his eyes out and bleeding from the mouth like, "I'm so hungry, bro. Is there any more food left, bro?" Yeah, dude, there is. I just need to go get it from the kitchen. So I gave Cameron the iPad with Coco Melon while I went to order more McDonald's. Cameron immediately became demobilized and fell into the Coco Melon trance. But unbeknownst to him, I was about to pull a little debauchery on him because I wasn't about to pay for another McDonald's order. I went downstairs into my kitchen trying to find some good mulch for the boys to eat. I came back with a big bag of Doritos Doritos. He told the lads that I got the new McDonald's Doritos, my boys. They taste so good. They're way better than the standard ones. And that was enough for him to immediately forget about what Jaime did. I tried to go up to Jaime and ask, so bro, like, how does it feel for you right now? And the only response he would say is,
Fuck, man, I'm so fucking high, man. Holy fuck.
to then immediately lock back in and play more Honey Pop. I don't know why he was so locked into this game, dude. Like, he either truly wanted to play this goofy video game all night, or he was just so committed to playing a character that he wouldn't break it for a second. The only eventful moment beyond this was when Cameron dropped the iPad on his face. It seemed that at this point, the night had brought itself to a stalemate. Going back to my hypothesis, the gummies happened to turn Jaime into more of an evil person than he usually is, and it turned Cameron into a toddler. To be honest, I don't think they took it very differently as non-smokers, but also maybe I chose the worst sample group imaginable, I don't know. But anyways, that's the video. Subscribe, bye! Target is an amazing place, isn't it? I don't know what it is about this grocery store, but somehow I just always find myself going here even when I have absolutely no reason to be in Target. It's just the superior Walmart. I walk into Walmart and it's like a wave of depression just hits me. No one wants to be there. The floors are all gray. It's terrible. But on the other hand, I walk into Target and the exact opposite happens to me. Maybe it's the floor colors. That could really be the secret. So I love Target, but that's just when I'm sober. If I smoke and then I go into a Target, it's just a different story. This is my happy place. Jumping over a ball and entering those doors, I become unstoppable. I don't know if your Target is like this, but most of the ones that I've been to have a Starbucks as soon as you walk in. So I'll be going up to the Starbucks as soon as I walk in there, and I'll pull the, can I get and I just can't help myself to eat one of those ooey gooey delicious little pastries they sell there. I end up buying one of those caramel ribbon crunch frappuccinos and drink the whole thing while I'm in the store with no regard to the impending diabetes that I'm going to have. I end up getting super high and cracked off this caffeine, and I've just started. I just walked through the doors and I'm fucked. I don't know if other people experience this, but whenever I'm in a public grocery store while I'm high, I just walk around with a big smile on my face and I can't control it. I don't want to be walking around with this big ass grin. I try and resist it, but it just can't be stopped, which becomes a problem because when you're high in public, you don't want people to know you're high. Me especially. Even if I'm chilling at home and I'm high, I try and keep it from everyone. It's just like an instinct. I have no reason to do this. I just kind of do. So I'll just be in Target feeling like I'm the most suspicious guy on the planet because of this big ol' smile. To be honest, I probably am. I mean, people see me, they perceive me. I probably am sus as hell. And that's why you gotta wear a mask when you go out high. That's a little wisdom for you. Despite being an adult man, the first place I'm gravitated to is, of course, the Lego aisle. I know I'm not gonna buy any of these Lego sets too. They're way too expensive, but there's a strange enjoyment in just staring at them. Maybe I'm imagining me having them and that's enough to satisfy me, or it could be that I'm reminiscing on the long lost childhood wonders these blocks once gave me. Such a pure joy that could never be recreated in my current broken state. But either way, I just like looking at the different Lego sets Target has. And I always find myself back in the exercise equipment section as well. You know, where they have those weird curvy sticks? I have no idea what these are supposed to do or what they are, but I always pick it up and just mess with it. You know, I'll poke my back a few times with it and just put it down, as confused as I was the last time I tried doing this. And it's always a Target tradition to try and curl the 40-pound dumbbells. You just can't resist the masculine urge to curl the Target 40-pound dumbbell. I'll be in the aisle getting an entire workout in. And don't even get me started on the big ball bin, I be bouncing them big balls through the halls. I just be bouncing them balls all I want. No one can stop me from bouncing the big balls. I never buy them though. I don't know one person that's ever bought in these balls, but you always gotta play with them. And then I conclude my awesome 20-minute Target trip of the day, still high, just with a lot of sugar and caffeine in my system. My hands are still empty because I don't ever buy shit. Call me the menace of Target. I just be messing with things. Now that I think about it, I really just do fuck with Target a lot. When I used to live in college dorms, I didn't want to pay for a parking pass, so I just parked at Target and left my car there overnight for like an entire year, and no one stopped me despite the sign saying that you can't park at Target. And another message, thank you for 10,000 subscribers. Jesus fucking Christ, like this just happened so goddamn fast. I don't know where it came from, but you know, I'm about it. So what I want to do for 10,000 subs is a Q&A video. So what you can do is either just comment on this video a question, or I made a community post. You'll probably have more luck getting it answered if you reply on the community post rather than the comments, but you know, just go ahead and do that. Okay, bye. I won't lie, the movie theaters is probably the best place on earth that you can go while you're high. If you get the munchies, you can just order the most buttery popcorn you'll ever eat in your life and munch on it for the entire movie. They got those big ass sodas that probably have like 300 milligrams of sugar inside of them, and it's like there's an entire weaponry of snacks that you can choose from to eat. Although your wallet is going to go through some form of financial trauma, I didn't say it was the most cost-effective place on earth, did I? You just have to get through the process of ordering the food, which admittedly is difficult to do while you're high. But once you get into the movie theater room, it's so nice and dark that after 5 minutes pass, you kind of just forget that you're in a public scenario. And the best part is if you're in a good movie, you'll probably just forget that you exist in your entirety. You'll be so invested in whatever you're watching, you're gonna start feeling like you are in the movie, experiencing it firsthand. There's different levels to being high and watching movies that you can be in. If you're just kinda high, you're gonna just feel like you're a little more interested in the movie. If you're pretty high, you're gonna start feeling like you're in the movie. But if you're baked out of your mind, you will feel like you are the movie. My first time going to the movie theaters high, I saw Dragon Ball Super Broly, and this shit had me glued. It was probably the best movie I could have watched. The animation is so goddamn good. It's colorful, it's fast. I mean, what else would you want out of a movie when you're high? I was in the final stage that I mentioned, and I felt like I truly was this movie. I felt like I was Goku. When he screamed, I felt that adrenaline rush. When he powered up into a new form, I felt like a new man. And at that part where he gets his fucking head dragged through an iceberg, I felt the pain alongside. Now, of course, this is all happening in my head. In actuality, I was probably just not moving a muscle with my mouth agape the whole time. I'm sure I was probably drooling, bro. I was only mentally Goku, but physically, I was probably just brain dead. Once you come out of the movies, you feel like a different person. Something deep in your soul changes. These movies have a real influence. I was trying to make Kamehamehas in the parking lot, screaming as loud as I can to power up. I was going crazy. I got home and I wanted to fight people. I had Goku's fighter spirit. It was put into me after watching this. I think the experience heightened my testosterone levels tenfold because I just started wrestling my boys. I was at an unhealthy T level. Like, I was on steroids. I was in trend mode. I don't really watch movies very often, so the Dragon Ball movie is one of the only movies I've really seen while high. I imagine watching movies high most of the time does not turn you into the killer monster I was this day. I imagine most times it's pretty chill, but not in my case. I have a very limited handful of experiences to base my judgment off of. So as for where it stands right now, Watching movies high just brings out the evil in me. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows either, because at the end of the day, I ended up throwing up into the toilet. I guess all the literal shit I consumed in the theaters mixed with the strenuous physical activity was not good for my body. So be cautious of that. It's very easy to overeat your snacks in the theaters, but also maybe it was just the movie. Maybe Dragon Ball wasn't actually the best movie to watch while I was high. Many moons ago, when I was merely a supple young weed smoker, I was ignorant of the powers Thanksgiving Day holds. When the abundant load of yummy food comes face to face with a growing boy cracked off 2 guaps in a blinker, things get ugly. The gravy, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, good big Lord above. Do not get me started on them cobblers. Dear gods, I will bust. But along with the excellence of Thanksgiving feasts, the price you pay is the difficulty of communication. With likely most of your family around, the danger levels are high. One slip up and you'll get the belt in front of everyone and have to sleep outside in the doghouse while it rains. Luckily, during my first rodeo, I developed strategies and tactics and moves to avoid my high being detected. So here's the story of that. It was the big day and all my family were just about prepared to eat the yummy food. As a pubescent gamer boy, high schooler dork loser with nothing going for me, I wasn't downstairs with them. I was locked in my bedroom, grinding Destiny with the only distant family member that we all know. It was the cousin, the top G of Thanksgiving. He hits me with the classic, "Hey, let's go for a little walk before we eat." But my arrogant ass didn't know this code at the time, so I'm like,
No, I want to keep playing Destiny.
so he shows me he's got that stizzy on him. Big cuz came to my crib with the strap and I go primal. Ooh, gimme. Bro, I need the weed so bad. I haven't smoked in 3 millennia. All right, let's go on that walk then. We go downstairs, walk past my entire family, and I'm thinking, oh, they have no clue what I'm gonna do. All right, guys, we're gonna go on a quick walk. Yeah, a real quick one. We head down a few blocks and cuz starts chafing the stizzy blinker after blinker like he weddy on the check. Like he's got 50 perks on the line and he's down a guap. No remorse for his soul and humanity. Bro smoked himself hollow like I've never seen before. After a display like that, I felt the need to do at least something that holds a candle to it. So I hit the stiz on God mode and I get sent out of my body. All that training had paid off because I sucked the souls out of this pen like a Division 1 football player. We have to get home since dinner was soon, but as we head back, I can't walk straight or keep my mouth shut. I'm laughing at literal nothing, staring down at asphalt and laughing. My cousin tries to bring me back into sanity by looking me in the eyes and saying, "You gotta get a grip, man. You can't be like this in front of everyone. It'll be way too obvious." Nah, you got it all wrong. I got this. Trust me. When we get in there, I won't slip up. As we walk through the front door, I get hit with the real-life mental version of the Vine boom sound effect. I was too high to think through the danger I had walked myself into, and I knew I could hardly speak. With no choice, I sit down at the dinner table and thought to myself, all right, I need to create a plan for when I'm asked a question. I can't take too long to respond or it's sus, but because the weed, I can't think fast enough to actually respond normally. So I need to use filler sounds and words to make up for my brain lag. I need to prove I'm sober by speaking well-articulated sentences no high person is expected to think. And to make sure they don't follow up, I'll start eating before they have a chance to. The food rolls out and we all start eating, and the antagonist of Thanksgiving shows himself, the uncle. He asks me, "So how's school?" And I initiate the plan. First, I start with the filler so I can think. Then I threw out my high IQ response. You know, school is lovely. I love school and learning. I've actually done all of my classes. With no hesitation, I start stuffing my face like I've never done before. I'm not even eating. I am inhaling the food. I need to use the bathroom. I hardly walk to the toilet and sit on it for like 10 minutes so this all blows over. As I come out, my cousin and I make eye contact. I could tell this was just as bad for him as it was for me. I'm just thinking about the Erwin speech from Attack on Titan to give me strength to get through this dinner. The food was positively bussin' though. The joys of eating all this food easily made up for the few times I was spoken to. The two of us eat a metric Drake ton of food this dinner, and I feel on the urge of death. Once it was all over, I ran back up to my bedroom to grind Destiny more. I felt like Luffy after a party, bro. It was on another level. Anyways, smoke weed on Thanksgiving. That's the story. Subscribe. Bye. College dorms are terrible. I'd rather sleep on the sidewalk than be in the living conditions these places put the students through. My college is just horrible. I could go on about this for a while, but on campus, there was one dorm that was actually livable, and that's the honors dorm. I won't lie, my high school performance was not good, but during my freshman year of college, I got put into the honors dorm for weird COVID reasons, probably. But I didn't complain. I didn't choose to be born God's favorite. This was the first time I had full independence, too. I mean, everyone did. This is just what you do. You smoke in the college dorm. Even the honors kids were doing it. It's crazy. So it's one of the first months of college, and I'm at this little get-together at some other dude's dorm. I don't know who was there. I hardly remember these people, but there was one guy that's important, and that's my main man, Adam. We were smoking, drinking, doing all that, but there was hardly anything happening. It was like a 7-person get-together just watching two guys play Call of Duty. So Adam and I are like, this is ass. We gotta get out of here and make something happen. So the two of us leave the function, and the thing about this dude's place is it's on a different floor of the building than we lived on. The floor of the dorms that houses the dorm gym. For COVID reasons, this gym was locked and closed, so no one could use it, but we were in the honors dorms. We thought we could use our bright little heads to figure out a way in. There were 2 doors into the gym, and we noticed a difference between the two. The part of the door with the latch had a little 1/2-inch opening on one door, while the other door had no space to work with. So we started trying different ways to open this door. One person would be on it while the other would look out. You already know, these honors kids, they would have narked if they had seen us, so we were on our toes. We were trying different ways to push this latch down so we could just open the door and get a little pump. We tried to push it down with our fingers. We tried the good old credit card trick, but nothing worked. Then Adam comes up with this genius idea. He takes out one of the laces from his shoe, throws one end around the latch, and basically has a little lasso around this thing. He pulls on it and it slides the latch down for a second before it goes back up. So we do it again, but as we pull the shoelace, we twist the knob and pull the door at the same time, and it opened. This moment was my peak. I don't think I've ever felt so accomplished and smart since. And I wasn't even the one who came up with the idea. So we get into this little dorm gym, and it feels so unreal. We're all giddy, running around the place. The scary thing though is that the automated lights turned on as we walked in there, but we thought we'd be fine as long as people didn't see us through the door. Before we start using the gym, we run back to my dorm, and we come back with a paper towel and some tape. We fold up the paper towel so it's thick enough to be used as a door stopper, and we put some tape around it to keep it there. So we're in the gym getting the pump of a lifetime. You could say we were too high in the gym. Shout out to myself. But after about 10 minutes, we start to hear the door open. There isn't supposed to be anyone able to get into this place. I mean, the doors were locked. And as the door opens, a janitor steps in for some reason. I don't know why he would clean this place. I mean, no one's been in here all semester, but a janitor just decides to walk in at this moment. The 3 of us lock eye contact for a second, and he's like, "How'd you guys get in here?" "Oh, you know, it was just unlocked, man." "Yeah, we saw the lights on, and we just thought it must have opened up." He told us to get out, but I won't lie, I feel like we had a pretty convincing case on our side looking back on it. In the moment though, we didn't feel so confident. It may have been the weed talking, but we felt so paranoid that they would check the cameras or something and see us. Nothing ended up happening of it, and the little paper towel door stopper was still there, so the 2 of us essentially had created our own personal gym to use any time for the rest of the school year. Okay, that's the story. Bye! Smoking alone for the first time can be a daunting task. A little inexperience can make you truly fear you'll smoke the grass wrong and end up in the shadow realm. And a part of that's true. If you never smoked alone before, you gotta understand it leaves you susceptible to your demons more than any other scenario. In Fortnite terms, running solos can really feel like you queued solo squads with the amount of demons you gotta fight off. Truthfully, I'm not one to talk though, because the first time I smoked alone, I did it out a goddamn banana. I was truly struggling back in the day. This particular instance of my first time, I think it was my 4th time ever smoking weed in my life. I came into it so inexperienced, I didn't even consider something could go wrong. It was the day after I had some boys over. We had gone questing for Zaza the night prior, and when the next day came, I had a little leftover nugget in my name. So once they all left my abode, I got a real sinister and evil idea inside of me. I got the idea to smoke it on my lonesome. The only issue, I was so new to weed, I didn't even have a method to smoke it. I went on Google and looked up homemade ways to smoke weed, and that's how the banana thing happened. Then came the second problem all low-level ZA smokers encounter, and that's masking the smell. And to be honest, I don't really have a very keen nose. My sense of smell is kind of fucking bad, but I just turned my fan on full and blew the smoke out the window. It was really the best I had. I won't lie though, the banana was goated. The banana was a little too goated because I ended up smoking way more of that razzmatazz hop skiddly do than I thought the banana was capable of. I expected some janky doohickey that hardly worked, but the banana method was truly valid. I only took like 2 to 3 hits since my tolerance was so abysmally small. But even from that, I started to see God. The chronic lung pain started to settle in immediately. It was so bad, I was praying to God, like, please Lord, free me of this pain. I didn't mean to smoke this weed. It was an accident. I really don't know how this happened. I was in recovery from this for like half an hour. I straight up thought it would never end and my high would be ruined because of it. So once I healed, I went on TikTok to rot myself from the inside out. But in my scrolling, there was one video that really stood out to me. It was specifically this one image from the video of a Lego Star Wars man. I stared at this picture for like 20 minutes, completely dumbfounded and in awe. I couldn't comprehend this Lego man, and it just didn't look right to me. So I did my research and watched the entirety of Lego Star Wars Episode 3 until precisely 12 minutes and 8 seconds into the video when I saw him. This is not the same as this, and it fucked me up. Immediately, I called Roderick like, bro, they fucking changed him, bro. What are you talking about? This Lego guy, he's not the same. They changed him. You have to come over right now, dude. I'll show you. So Roderick heads over to my house while I cannot comprehend why they changed a Lego man. He pulls up and I get the text that he's outside, and suddenly my brain does the Vine boom sound effect. Wait a minute. If I gotta go get Roderick, that means I gotta go through my house. That means I could be seen by my very own mother. I looked in the mirror to do a quick checkup, and bruh, my eyes looked like Squidward when he said, I'm all out of money. And I had no idea if I smelt or not. So I sprint downstairs as fast as I can, acquire young Roderick at the door, and take him into my room. Almost immediately, he's like, hey bro, it smells like weed in here. And my brain goes Vine boom sound effect with extra reverberation and bass boosted. Ain't no way, bro. Please say you're joking, bro. I can't have that be the truth. Nah, dude, it smells like weed. I start to panic. I don't know how potent the smell is, and I don't know if the smell had leaked out when I left my room. Now the objective has changed. It's no longer about Lego men anymore. It was about getting rid of the smell as to avoid getting a beating. I showed Roderick the banana, so he took it from me like, alright, this makes sense. The source of the smell has got to be coming from this banana. So what do we do about it? Give me a lighter. Oh, alright. And Roderick starts smoking out the banana, not before eating the whole thing. Eating that banana is just downright awful. Alright, dude. Now the source of the smell is inside of me. So as long as I don't open my mouth very much, it can't get out. Oh, wow, bro. That's genius. I didn't know you had this much intelligence. Hey, I'm not done cooking yet. We gotta get the smell out of the atmosphere now. The atmosphere? Yeah, dude, the atmosphere. Go get a vacuum. Go get a vacuum. So I run and get the vacuum, then bro turns on the vacuum nozzle and starts attempting to suck the weed smell out of the bedroom's atmosphere. Wait. That vacuum is too loud. It's gonna bring suspicion to the noise. Oh, damn. Good thinking. And in an attempt to soundproof my bedroom, me and Roderick take my bed mattress off the frame and push it up against the door. Once we had thoroughly sucked all stench from the atmosphere, Roderick was like, all right, we gotta vacuum the floor now because the odor can trap itself in the carpet, so let's suck it out. So then we vacuumed my entire bedroom. Our soundproofing was apparently not good at all because all of a sudden my mom opens my door to see what all the noise was, and the mattress falls on Roderick.
What's all this noise?
Oh, you know, I'm just cleaning my room. Are you okay, dude? I think my rib punctured my lung. Okay, but we should be all good with the smell now. This was perfect because now I could show Roderick how they changed the way Lego General Grievous looks in Lego Star Wars. So I showed him the difference and bro didn't really care. He never played Lego Star Wars, so he didn't really have any reaction. After that anticlimactic reveal, he just headed home and I was back to being high alone. But since we had cleaned my room, I won't lie, I felt like a king. I felt like I was living in the highest echelon of society, so I took a whole shower for like 30 minutes in complete bliss. Once I was done, I got out and looked out my window to enjoy the view to see Roderick's car was still outside my house. It turns out he forgot he drove to my house and he was walking home this entire time. So I called Roman to get Roderick to take him to my house so he can take his car home. So we go through with the plan until Roderick gets back to my house and he's like, I'm high, I can't drive. So we call Adam to drive over and bring Kevin to drive Roderick's car home. In the meantime, me, Roderick, and Roman all go up to my bedroom, and as soon as Roman steps in, he's like, it smells like weed in here. Are you joking? After all the atmospheric sucking we did, it still smells like weed. So Roman did a little scouting around until he finds little bits of weed all over my bathroom counter. It turns out Roderick had just spilled them all out before eating the banana and forgot that they were out in the open. So Adam and Kevin come to my house, and as Kevin gets ready to drive Roderick back home, he realized he doesn't know how to drive a stick shift. So we need Adam now to drive Roderick's car since he doesn't know how to drive a stick shift, and they did a whole thing that I completely tuned out because I'm high and can't mentally comprehend their plan. As I'm watching them try and figure this all out, I'm just thinking, damn, if they never changed the way that Lego guy looked, none of this would be happening right now. So since I just kind of tuned this whole thing out, I decided to sneakily turn around and just walk back into my house while this chaos is transpiring outside. Even though at the heart of the cause, it was my fault, I was just like, I can't deal with this right now. And as I went into my room, I won't lie, I still smelt the weed at this point. But I couldn't really bother to care about that either. I was just so mentally fried and I was so high. I decided I would just watch funny videos on my iPhone SE until I passed out. Okay, that's the video. Subscribe. Bye. Moonrocks, aka THC Megazord, is allegedly the most dangerous and powerful devil's lettuce crafting ingredient humans can possibly create with our current technology. Moonrocks are the frontier of all weed advancements, and that if smoked will change the way you view weed for the rest of your life. At least that's how some people were hyping these things up to me before I tried them. So when I first heard about this, naturally the first thing I thought was, the fuck is a moon rock? And you'd think I would have found out after having smoked them, and I'm leading into an explanation, but to be honest, I still don't know. I mean, it's a little nugget, it looks like a rock, and it's really strong. That's all I know. Anyways, here's the story of the first time I smoked a moon rock. I was with my boys as per usual when the idea of moon rocks came up. None of us had actually ever done them before, so it would be all of our first times. But since it was our first times, we didn't have any. But for the most part, we're all big kids now, so a few of us drove down to the dispensary to pick some up. We walk in, ask the employees for moon rocks, and they didn't even know what we were talking about. How do you work at a dispensary and not know what the weed is? We left empty-handed and decided to take some Google searches to find out how to get these. After Google searching, can you get moon rocks at dispensary? We found out that they're actually extremely rare. Not just that, but they're actually illegal. Oh wait, that's talking talking about the shits from space. Never mind. We loaded up weed maps and found a dispensary that has them. Drove over there, and yeah. We get home. Time to get high, baby. Let's go. The price for these things were really steep. It was like $80 a pop, but also the price only added to the group's collective curiosity. So me, Roman, Roderick, and Adam all gathered around this magic rock, marveling at its greatness. Damn, bro, it's beautiful. You really think this tiny rock can really be all that? I don't know, bro. I hear it's illegal. You can't have rocks from space like that, so it's got to be strong. Roderick and Adam were already high going into this, so please pray for their souls. Cameron was also there, but as per usual, he didn't smoke, although he played the most important role in all of this, and that was giving me the information of what happened this night, because if not for him, I would have not remembered anything that happened to me to make this video. So we loaded up the thing, smoked the moon rocks, and almost instantly, you can feel that these things are strong. Off rip, each of us were feeling it quite adequately and splendiferously so. We did the usual goofing around and whatnot as you do when you're high. But all in all, the group was a little disappointed at this point. Yeah, we had a good high, but it wasn't quite the next level experience we were wanting. Considering the hype, we had expectations that this would change our lives and provide lifelong financial freedom or something like that. But little did we know, moon rocks actually have a secret ability that doesn't activate until 15 minutes after being smoked. The high of the moon rocks just kept getting higher and higher for us. After some time, we'd all think, damn, all right, this is actually getting somewhere. And then it would just keep going and going and going. The moon rocks had no plateau. And I guess that's the appeal of them. That's probably why they're called moon rocks, yeah? But anyways, after letting the moon rocks cook, we finally got it. Roderick and Adam being high beforehand definitely made them more zooted than anyone else, because Roderick became completely non-verbal and just lied on the floor, being completely still, while Adam was feeling the texture of the walls going, yo, it feels so real, it feels so good. These two were like the hollows from Dark Souls, dead spirits roaming shallow levels of the astral world, relentless and tormented, clinging on to the last remaining bits of their lives. Me and Roman, we were just really high. Now, what I'm about to say will probably be really controversial and could even possibly ruin my career. But in this heightened state, Roman did the impossible and convinced me that the Ohio meme was actually funny. You know how something that becomes unfunny gets life again by becoming ironic? Well, through that irony, I came full circle to the conclusion that Ohio is funny. He kept pointing and saying, Ohio weed. And I hated it at first. I thought it sucked. I did not think it was a funny joke at all. But by the time he got to his 20th Ohio weed, he eventually broke me. And then he stood over my body as I fell on the ground and said, I control you now, you're mine. Then proceeded to point at things and do the Ohio meme. In hindsight, I kind of don't think he's remotely funny to me at all, but there's something impressive about the fact that he could bring a day's worth of longevity back to this joke. As for me, I felt like my body was made of the sticky part of Velcro and everything else was whatever you call the other end of Velcro. I jumped on this bed and got completely stuck to it and couldn't get off. But I had a TV and an Xbox at my disposal, and from there, those two simple items brought me something I could only compare to an enlightening and spiritual experience. I queued up some classic Fortnite, went to the creative maps, and attempted to beat Fortnite only up. This collectively brought everyone together to watch me fall off of the first 3 boxes over and over. But every time I would get one more jump on my run, it was unreal. Everyone would pop off. The way they reacted to my gameplay gave me an evil little idea to do some trolling. Naturally, the group conglomerate gets munchies and all charge towards the kitchen, except for me and Cameron. I had to use all of my willpower to not follow them because I had hella munchies as well. But I turned to Cameron and whispered, bro, open YouTube for me. I want to see somebody beat this. So we brought up a video as the boys came back, and as they saw these beautiful and excellent jumps being performed before their very eyes, the boys couldn't help but weep. They watched in awe as they thought I was truly beating this whole thing, and I gained loads of respect. You can imagine that next, we all just started watching YouTube and go zombie mode. So all in all, moon rocks are good and really strong and make you go hollow. So if that's what you really want, I recommend. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe. Bye. Mushrooms are my favorite thing on the entirety of planet Earth, just above family, money, and my iPad. So naturally, I look back fondly to the wacky antics of my first time. But everyone's first mushroom trip has the arbitrary barrier of, how do I even get these? You have to figure out. Up until this point, I had only ever really acquired the za, so I didn't really know where to look. So I did what I do best, and I made someone else figure out my problem for me. Hey Kevin, you buck-toothed freak, I need you to get me some mushroom. I don't know if I can. 2 days after that phone call, I pull up to Kevin's house with the boss, Cole. It was gonna be both of our first times, but Cole said to me, I really want to die from this, and decided 4 grams would be a good amount for his first time, while I was only doing a measly 2. Kevin comes out of his actual woodland shack and meanders over to the whip to show us he's got that stuff. I kiss him on the lips as thanks and pull out my scale to measure the grammage. Although this wasn't my brightest moment because I didn't have the right kind of scale to do this. I had brought one of those cooking scales and the thing was not nearly accurate enough to measure them Johns. Not to mention it was in broad daylight on the hood of my car, so people kept driving past us and it was real sus. So we just decided when the time came we would eyeball it. So the time did come and we did eyeball it with Adam because he wanted to join us as well. Adam and I were able to get ours down with no problem, but Cole just couldn't stomach it. So this guy puts his shrooms into a blender with just water and makes this nasty shroom water drink. But this wasn't good enough, so he put sugar into the water, which made it worse than before. Since we didn't measure the shroom dispersion correctly, there's no way to know if he really ended up drinking 4 grams or not, but I'm willing to bet that he had more than 4 because this drink sends him to another planet. Cole was where most of the content of this night came from. So let's skip 30 minutes to when they started to hit. As the high came over me, I felt like every aspect of myself was at 11. I could think sharper. I could see clearer. I felt like I could do anything. I was quite literally cracked. An immortal being living amongst the mortals. Adam was just vibing out on the couch listening to music, but Cole was on God mode with me. Considering that he ate double the mushrooms I did, I can't even imagine what he was on. Cole looks over to me and says, I need to kill God. I didn't completely know what that meant, but I was like, yeah bro, go for it, kill him. So Cole grabs this sword he had, and I can't say what it looked like from his perspective, but I'm sure he was winning. At one point, I took my glasses off, and my vision was so bad that the blurry world without my glasses felt like a whole new place. I thought of it as a personal little pocket dimension I could enter whenever I wanted. But then Cole just yells, yo bro, you need to see this, from the bathroom. So I walk over and he's doing what most people tripping would consider unspeakable. He's looking at himself in the mirror. What's up? Dude, look in the mirror. I swear, the wall tiles don't normally look like this, right? So I look in the mirror and I don't see shit. Nah, you're tripping. Look closer. There's more details than usual. Oh yeah, I guess I see that. It looks like writing, bro. I think it's an ancient language. This man was positively tripping balls. He starts staring at the wall trying to decipher the ancient language, but I didn't eat enough shrooms to see that, so I just walk away. Once Cole comes out, he says to me, bro, I just made time cease to exist. There's no more future or past. Time is no longer linear, bro. And next, I'm gonna create the universe from scratch. So he lays down, shuts his eyes, and starts creating the universe in his mind. I sit down with Adam like, so what have you been up to, bro? Oh, I'm just listening to music. Then Cole walks over again and has more to say. His ass has more to say. Guys, I don't know if the universe is worth creating. Life is such a beautiful thing, but at the same time, I would be causing every human atrocity. I think you need to go on a walk, dude. So the 3 of us go on a walk around the block. And let me tell you, this walk felt like the most cinematic moment of my life. As the shroom trip came to an end, I thought to myself, mushrooms are very cool. Alright, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye. Doing acid is a wild experience that I tried to peer pressure all of my friends into doing with me. My first time was just 1 week ago when I made an epic phone call. Yo, Roman, I've got a proposal. Yeah? What's up, massive legend? We gotta take acid so I can make a video about it. Instantly, I knew Roman would be on board because he lacks impulse control. Now that I had someone on board, I could make this a thing and everyone I know would drop LSD with me. Or so I thought. Nobody else actually wanted to do acid, but I did get Cole to trips it for us in case anything went wrong. When the day comes, we all meet and we make the moves required to acquire the stuff. I call the plug like, let me get some of that good lysergic acid dithylamide, boy. We drive over, both get a tab each and drive back to my place. We thought one tab wouldn't hurt. This is like probably the adequate amount to do. But even for a big guy like me, this little paper messed me up. So we sit down, I put the little tab on my tongue to dissolve, but Roman just swallows the paper on some downright feral activity. We planned to play video games as we came into the trip, but didn't think anything past that. Hey bro, so what are we gonna play? I don't know. So we go to the PlayStation store and we come across this game called Funny Truck. This is the exact type of game you want to play when coming into an acid trip. This game went so hard. We're playing for like 30 minutes until we start to feel the effects, and Funny Truck really starts to live up to its name. The colors are a little more vibrant, our moods are boosted, and all these jiggly little people in the truck are the funniest goddamn thing we have ever seen. We keep playing the Funny Truck game for some time until Roman hits us with the, bro, we need to play some music. He stands up to play the music, but he just stands there without moving. So I stand up too, and I'm like, shit, everything is moving. I'm gonna go get the Alexa. I go get that thing, come back, and Roman still hasn't moved. I walk over to him and just hand him the Alexa orb, and he's like, what's this? The Alexa, bro. You play the music on it. So he repeatedly says, play Drake, play Drake, play Drake. He just couldn't figure out how it worked. So Cole steps in as CEO Trip Sitter, figures it out, and plays Roman his Drake. When this music plays, I feel like this man is speaking directly to my soul. I had never heard Drake this sensual and beautiful in my entire life. It was like the Drake was inside me, bro. My vision starts to gain after images, and the vibe created from the combination of everything going on was just on another level. I had truly felt I was peaking in this moment. It was getting dark, and Roman was like, hey, I want to go outside. Bro, imagine how the stars would look. You boys think you can go out like this, though? I don't know. Yes, you feel up to it, bro. I know you do. Okay, I guess I do. Are you sure? Don't listen to him. Just run outside. Don't let him control you, bro. You're a free man. I was acting as an enabler this day and being a little cheeky, but it worked because Roman just leaves the house, so we follow. There was tons of stuff to do around my place. We got the playground, we got the pool, we got the hot tub, but me and Roman weren't drawn to any of that stuff. We wanted the volleyball court. We play the music and the two of us lay in the sand and look at the stars. This goes on for a long time. I won't lie. Looking at the stars on an acid trip brings a peace you don't get to feel too often. Once our time was up, we wanted that hot tub bad. Just the idea of being consumed by the warmth was enough to make us down bad. There was an issue though. We go around the gate to try and get in, but the gate was locked. I snap back into my bad influence and tell Roman, we need to jump the fence. There's no other option. He jumps the fence, then I jump the fence. And Cole is like, alright, I'll just stay out on the lookout for you guys. As we enter this hot tub, our lives change. We get onto some real homogeneous mixture type shit because the two of us just fuse into the water. It felt like there was no barrier separating our bodies from the liquid. The three of us see a car driving past and we're not gonna take any chances. So the two of us jump out of the pool, over the fence, and back to my place where the Drake and Funny Truck are still going. I'm like, guys, we're in a time loop where we have to listen to Drake forever and play Funny Truck. Honestly, that doesn't sound that bad to me, man. So the night continues in what is essentially heaven, and the three of us game on acid. We ordered food at one point, and let me say, I got ripped off so badly. I ordered a medium Coke from McDonald's with a $10 edition of Freestyle orange flavor. flavor. And it was no different than a standard Coke. Does anybody know what Freestyle orange flavor is? Anyways, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye. The relationship with the plug is more impactful on your life as that of your parents. But what precedes that relationship with the plug is a constant and brooding struggle to find the one. Those moments when you struggle to find a plug at the climax of a dark and damp boys' night, it's a formative canon event that bonds us all. Sometimes you come out the trenches dry and you and your boys throw in the towel on finding a plug. But when the gang clutches up and secures that last minute plug for the night, the moment is nothing shy of pure bliss. I can't imagine any other scenario more intense. And an intense night was surely ahead of me and the boys, when a very tantalizing Friday night opportunity presented itself during the before school round table discussion. Boys, who's trying to get into a little trouble tonight? Oh, you couldn't possibly mean. I think you lads know exactly what I mean. Alright, so you got any of that skiddly diddly hopscotch diddle drip on you, bro? Nope. Yeah, my pockets are empty. Oh, damn. Well, I guess we've got to get a plug on our hands. And right then, phase 1 of the plug struggle began. As all desperate high schoolers do when in need of a little grass, we all spammed everyone we have added on our Snapchat. We all tried different approaches, starting with the simple and to the point method. Anyone got grass? We tried the desperate attempt. Hey, bro, please, does anyone have weed? I need it so bad, bro. And we even tried the really desperate method. Hey, bro, would you trade a couple dozen tamales for a perk? And by the time the gang got back together after our first few periods, it was like, all right, boys, let's see the plugs for tonight. What did you all get? The only snap I got back was a picture of this girl's forehead. What about you guys? I got the left side of her face, but I think she wants me, bro. Damn, all I got was left undelivered by Team Snapchat. I think it was safe to say phase 1 was a complete train wreck. So next was on to phase 2. The second phase of our plug struggle was just straight up going up to every group we could find at lunch and asking them if they had a plug. Yo, you guys got a plug?
Yeah, so let's see, we got iPhone plugs. Let's see, we got another iPhone plug. What do you have, Sarah? Oh, let's see, I got an iPhone plug.
You guys know a plug? Listen here, little boy. Bow down when you talk to me so I can hold you still and make sweet love to that little pretty face. Yo, you guys know a plug I can use for tonight? Oh, yeah, bro. Here, I'll give you a snap. And just like that, Roman brought all of the boys together. For phase 2 of the plan was a monumental success. The anticipation for this night followed the three of us until school finally let out and we could make the moves towards phase 3. Messaging the plug. So we hit him up like, hey, bro, we're trying to acquire tonight. You up, baby? And he's like, yeah, man, meet me here at 9 p.m. tonight. And just like that, we had a time and place. The plug struggle was really looking like it was coming to an end. It was a bright future for the boys. So when night fell, we all sat there on Roderick's bed, kicking our legs and twiddling our thumbs for the clock to strike 9. And once the time came, we all sprinted out the house and drove 150 miles an hour to the location. But when we got to the spot, we were starting to get a really bad feeling. As it turned out, the location this plug wanted to meet us at had to be the most suspect, dark, and desolate public park we could have ever been to. We're looking around for this guy from the car and don't see anyone. We thought there was gonna be no time before red and blue lights start flashing. But then we get a Snapchat from the plug like, is that you that just pulled up? And we're like, yeah, that's us. So then he replies with, come into the playground. I'm in the fucking slide. The three of us walked into the playground and bro was not lying. He was sitting in the slide. So what you guys want tonight? We want weed. I know, but like, we would like a joint for the each of us. Oh, I only got carts. Damn, all right, well, that's cool. We'll take that. So we make the exchange and this dude only gives us the cart with no battery. So what about the battery, bro? Oh, I don't sell batteries. I only have carts. We thought this guy was scamming us. I mean, we can't do this shit with just a cart. But that's when the plug explains tweaker wires to us. Yeah, man, all you gotta do is cut a phone charger in half and you can use the wires to power the battery. It gets you really high though, so be careful. Oh, wow. So the girls at school did know what they were talking about. Now, we didn't want to question this plug anymore because we weren't about to get pushed down a slide or whatever this dude would do to us. So the three of us just trusted his word even though that sounded like it couldn't possibly work and considered phase 3 a kind of success. guess. So we drove back to Roderick's, and phase 4 to smoke the carts was initiated. We were stressing about the information this plug told us and if it was true or not. Alright, so who's gonna be the sacrifice to try this first? I don't know, bro. What if this explodes in our faces and kills us? Damn, true. It can't be that bad. I feel like nothing's gonna happen. So you wanna do it? I'm down, bro. I'll be the sacrifice. Oh, damn. So we set up the wires like the plug told us, and Roderick starts sucking this cart out of an iPhone charger. Yo, no way. Ain't no way that's working, bro. Bro, do you feel high? Did it really work? Bro, it's like I hit the cart, but the house was the battery. No way. He's for sure high, dude. So what's it feel like? Is it good for us to smoke? Dude, I mean, help yourself, but this shit is hitting me like a fucking semi-truck. Roderick got ubiquitously sent into the shadow realm from that hit. It turns out that when you use tweaker wires, it makes you tweak. The electricity heats up the oil way hotter than a battery does, which in turn puts more weed particles into the inhalation, and in turn makes you higher than you could ever imagine. Damn, I guess it's either we get too high or we aren't high at all. Nah, man. I know one way. I know a method. I didn't want to do this, but my cousin can get some for you guys. Oh, for real? Alright, so what's his number? It's 54. No, I think it's 4954. No, nah, that ain't it. I think it's 4594. No, that's not it. Bro is too high. Damn. We ended up having to unlock Roderick's phone with his Face ID and texted his cousin on his behalf. Hello, yes, this is Roderick, and I would like to attain some weed for my 2 friends. That sounds professional, bro. And after like 30 minutes, Roderick's cousin pulls up and takes me and Roman to the dispensary. This car ride was so awkward because since Roderick was completely obliterated, he didn't end up coming with us. But cousin Roderick pulled through and got us a battery so we could smoke the cart. After that side quest, we came back to Roderick to see that in the time we were gone, bro postmated Burger King twice. You gotta be on another planet to order Postmates twice, let alone Burger King. He had a POV video of some dude walking through China pulled up on his TV, but upon further inspection, Roderick was completely passed out on the bed with a double whopper still in his hand. But in the end, even though we had one soldier down, phase 4 was a success as well. Me and Roman finally got to smoke the cart, and the plug struggle we went through prior only made the high hit even better. And once we got high, I won't lie, those China videos Roderick had on started to hit. We were straight up entranced by this video, and we came out of this with a whole new appreciation for our plug. So make sure to text your plug you love them and if you can get free weed from them. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe. Bye. This was probably the least intelligent moment of my entire life. Unintentionally getting high for 3 consecutive days. This happened back when I lived with roommates. I had one roommate that would always buy those storage jars to put his food into. Unknowing to me, he had a jar of very special gummy bears that would sit on the kitchen counter in full view from anywhere in the living room. These special gummy bears, due to the jars he would put them in, were completely unmarked and proceeded to make me become an unknowing victim to their powers for the next 3 days. So I woke up at 5 a.m. like the champion beast trailblazer I am. I got my pre-workout and went out to drink it in the living room. This was when I first laid eyes on the gummy bear jar. I thought one little bear wouldn't hurt, so I eat it, drink the pre-workout, and drive to the gym. A little bit into my workout, I'm starting to feel sloshed. Damn, the pre-workout really hitting today. Sheesh, I feel like Charizard. But then it starts to get worse. I'm doing these curls like 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 6. I just can't count correctly. My mind is all scattered. I started to realize something was really off when I got on the treadmill and ran 3 miles without feeling a shred of fatigue. I was just in a mental trance the entire time I ran. I go into the locker room, and while I sit here finally with a moment to myself, I realize I probably should not drive myself home. I had to wake up the boy Roman to pick me up and also bring someone else to take my car back because I felt crazy. easy. He pulls up with Cameron and the operation is followed through. Are you alright, man? Yeah, I just feel different, but not bad. We get home and I've got a Zoom class to attend in about an hour. As I'm walking to my room, I pass the gummy bears and eat another one. While I wait for my class, I remember just sitting in my chair staring at my PC doing nothing like a zombie. I was trying to mentally will myself into being functional for this class, but since I ate the other gummy bear as I entered my room, it just got worse. I sat in this class just staring at myself in this little Zoom camera window. The teacher even called on me at one point, but I just kept staring. I didn't say a word. It may have been from me being so high I couldn't process what was happening, but there was not a word spoken from me. I woke up this day pretty tired from the high of yesterday, but I still hadn't put 2 and 2 together and realized the bears were edibles. I had an in-person class today to attend, so I left for that pretty early and again ate a gummy on my way out. The gummy hit as I was walking to class and I was like, God damn it, not again, what's happening to me? I keep walking to class because God picks his hardest fights for his strongest soldiers, until I realize I have no idea where I'm at. A few wrong turns had been made without me realizing it, and now I gotta figure out how to get back. I probably walk around these neighborhoods for like 30 minutes just trying to find my way back on track to get to class. But then I remember, oh yeah, I got a phone, I can use this. So I maps my way back to campus, but I had not made the calculations required to know by the time I got there, the class would be over. I walk into the lecture room that would be my class, and there's a whole different teacher in class going on that I attend thinking, nah, this has got to be the same class. I bet this is just a substitute. The class ends and I'm still oblivious to the fact that that was not the lecture I was meant to be in. An email pops up on my phone about my absence and I remember replying to the email just saying not true and then walking all the way home. I had homework to do, but as I sat down to do it, I was like, yo, the teacher did not teach us this today. So I just played Elden Ring for the next 8 hours of the day. All this weed I had been consuming kind of messed up my sleep schedule because I woke up this day a good amount later than usual. So when I walked into the living room, my roommates were all awake and out there. I was like, guys, that thing keeps happening to me. I think I gotta go to the doctors today. Something's just not right with my body or something. I reach in and eat another gummy while I'm out here, but this time in full view of all my roommates. Roman's like, bro, you're really gonna eat an edible this early in the day? And just like that, all of the stars aligned in my head. I had been drugging myself on these gummy bears unintentionally for the past 3 days. So you're telling me that those are edibles? I've been eating those every single day recently. Then everyone just erupts to clown on me. These dudes couldn't act right. They're like, oh my fucking god, this dude's a dumbass. So I run into my room in tears and listen to Heartless by Kanye West. I hate my friends. Alright, that's the story. You know the drill. Bye. I've seen videos recently of people telling their experiences going to school high, so I thought I'd share my experience of sneaking into my high school while high. A complete Metal Gear Solid covert operation breaking into my high school after hours. It was very illegal. And just a disclaimer to anyone watching this, don't follow in my footsteps. This was a bad decision. I could have been locked up for the atrocities I committed this night. And I can't go back, bro. This story starts on a summer afternoon of my senior year. I was at my boy's birthday party. We'll call this particular birthday boy Cameron. There was a handful of others there, but they weren't particularly important to the story, so we'll just call them anonymous individuals. The vibes were peak, and we were out grilling in the backyard, making some of the best food known to man. For Cameron's birthday, his parents got a hotel so that he could invite as many people over as he wanted, which, as you know, means the night came and so did that gas. And for Cameron's birthday, you know we all had to turn up and smoke until we forgot who we were and why we were there. People were throwing up, and at one point I swear this guy just started playing Valorant for no reason. Shit was just happening and it was a good time. As it got pretty late into the night, people started to wind down, but I was still feeling a little nefarious, as I do. I asked around if anyone wanted to go for a walk, but everyone was pretty gone, so this walk of mine became a solo mission. Something about Cameron's house is that he lives about a block away from the school, and I hadn't been there all summer, so I thought it would be fun to walk around the school grounds. And I won't lie, even though the neighborhood is pretty safe and it was only a short walk, being all high and alone at night was starting to get me a little paranoid. It just felt a little too quiet for me, but I think that was really just the weed talking. Also, an important note to add is that my high school is kind of set up in a weird way. There's a main building to the place and a few separate buildings for the classes, and the rest is entirely outdoors. There's no hallways, which made sneaking around the cameras pretty easy because I could just come at the building from any angle. And since I had been going here for a few years, I knew where all the cameras were located at anyways. Despite having this knowledge, my high ass decided to walk straight through the front entrance where there is a camera directly pointed at me. I walked down the center of the courtyard of the school and just tried to open the front door. I could not have been less covert. It was like I did everything in my power to be seen. I don't know why opening the front door was the first thing I did either, because breaking into the school was not my original plan. I just started wanting to get into the building. Eventually, I went over to the side entrance of the building, and for whatever reason, it was unlocked. So I walked in, and it had a very similar feeling to walking into a Toys R Us as a kid. I knew I wasn't supposed to be here, and that made it so much more fun. As I walked in, I passed right by another camera, but I really just didn't give a fuck. I'm pretty sure that one is fake anyways, probably, and I made a beeline for the bathrooms. You know when you have to be in school at night for whatever reason and life just feels different in an indescribable way? It was very similar to that feeling as I stood in this bathroom. Leaving, I noticed this merch table, and I just snatched this black sweatshirt and proceeded to wear it for the rest of the night. I just stole from the school. I tried to get into some of the classrooms, but they were all locked except for the biology room, so I just went in there. It was pitch black, and I wasn't about to turn the lights on, so I had to walk around with my phone flash on, and this is when I started to hear police sirens. I went into panic mode. I looked out the window and I was making a plan to run instantly. The police had to drive past the school on the road and take 2 lefts to get into the parking lot. If I see that first left, I take the back exit and run into the forest, which should give me enough time to escape to the park and back home. I just gotta hope that they don't check the cameras and recognize my face, and then that was when I was like, oh shit. Even if I did run, I still have this sweater on. There's physical proof that somebody has been in here and they're gonna know it's missing, check the cameras and find me, and I can't go back to jail, bro. And then the police didn't take the turn and I was chilling, but I was still on my toes. I did a little peeking around and eventually struck gold. I found the crate that had all the Chromebooks and MacBooks, as well as another backpack filled with them. It took every fiber in my body to not steal this laptop, but I decided to put it back so that I didn't face jail time because I just can't go back, bro. There was probably like $500,000 of equipment that I could have just stolen in that room, which is crazy. And I wanted to take something, so I just snatched this little 3D printed astronaut, and I actually still have it with me now. I left the classroom and tried a few other buildings, but they were all locked, and I was getting a little sussed out at this point until one door opened, and that door was none other than the front office of this school. I could have gone onto the laptops and changed my grades. I could have set myself up for a future in there. They even had more MacBooks in that office too, but I left because I had been there for a while and I was just bugging out. So after a long journey, I headed home in my new sweatshirt and my little astronaut toy. I got to Cameron's house and just slept on the floor. In hindsight, I'm glad no one came with me because it probably would have made a lot more noise and for sure would have gotten us caught. And also the fact that they left so many doors unlocked is just insane to me. Criminals could have just been crawling through my school at night and I would have had no idea. They could be crawling through your school right now. Think about that. Anyways, I could have been arrested for trespassing that night, but instead I got a cool astronaut toy. Encounters with the police are always anxiety inducing, even if you're innocent. You never know if you're gonna get shot in the head on site with their guns because they're feeling a little bloodthirsty and want to kill that day. If you've ever had an encounter with the police when you've got something to hide though, when you got dirty hands and you see those lights, you go into fight or flight. It could very well be the end. Now, I had a little cop altercation recently and it had me shitting myself backwards. So I thought I'd tell the story today because it was very goddamn scary. So I'm chilling with my man Roderick and we gotta head over to my boy, we'll call him Adam. We had to go over to Adam's house because I had left a little jar of mushrooms over there the other night. I had to go over there to pick them up because he was gonna go out of town the next day. So we drove over to his place and we ended up going for a little walk while we were over there. I won't lie though, during this walk through the late night suburbs, we were partaking in some gas, some weed, some za, some goody good. You know, we went around for a bit, it was fun, but by the time we got back to his house, we wanted a little more walking. We were fiending for the walk. We decided we would drive over to the college campus and peruse around that place for a little bit. Now, I wouldn't trust myself to drive a car while high. I know people are about to say that's irresponsible, but this is Roderick driving the car we're talking about. He's high just about every waking moment of his existence. He's good. If he couldn't drive a little high, he wouldn't be able to function as a modern human. And the streets are empty past 9 p.m. where I live, so you'd be hard pressed to even find another human person. So I got my little mushrooms and I was going to put them in the glove box, but my dumbass couldn't figure out how to open it, so I decided to put it in the tunnel console. This seems like a pointless detail, but trust me, it's important. As we were driving to campus, we saw some dude getting pulled over, and then we saw another dude getting pulled over, and then we saw the police lights light up right behind us. Adam was lighting up a joint at the time, and we were also all high, so our hearts sank. But it turns out he was only pulling over the car behind us. We had seen 3 people getting pulled over in the span of like a 10-minute car drive. It was crazy. I guess they just needed to hit that quota, so they were pulling over anyone on the road. We went on our little walk, and as we were walking through the campus, we saw another person being pulled over. This was just absurd. I can guarantee these people probably did not deserve to be pulled over. There isn't that much illegal activity that happens here. As we finished the walk, we started heading to my place since I lived the closest to campus. But as we were driving through the last light to my place, not even a minute away from the destination, Roderick drives through a yellow and the goddamn police come after us for driving through the yellow light. It was the most clearly yellow light, bro. So we pull over and we're like, holy shit, we're fucked. We're all high and we just got pulled over. And in this moment, I remembered that we have mushrooms in the car. We are in possession of illegal drugs and they're sitting right in the tunnel console that's broken anyways and doesn't have a top to it. So if the cop walked over, he'd just see it sitting there in the middle. So as the cop is walking over to the car, the best thing I can think of is to take the mushrooms and throw them under my seat. Imagine if I had put them in the glove compartment like I originally was going to do. He would have asked for the registration and the drugs would have just been right there. Luckily, I was a stupid, silly little guy this night and I couldn't figure out how to open it. He comes up to my window, even though I'm the passenger, and he shines his flashlight right in my face and he's like, "You ran a red, man." He asked the usual questions like, are you under the influence and do you have weapons? Roderick says no to both of these, even though he's high and has knives in his car. I don't even know why he lied about the weapons, dude. He just did. So he goes back to his car for like 20 minutes while he checks the registration, and the 3 of us are just sitting in silence the whole time. The air was thick. It was a loud silence. He comes back to the car and just lets us go. So we head out scared shitless. I get home and I just go to bed immediately and hit the in my bed. I don't know why the cops were so active this night, but I guess it was cool that we didn't get a ticket or caught with drugs. If you take anything from this story, I would take that you shouldn't drive through yellow lights around cops because they will use your life for a quick bag. I am a freak of nature. I'm one of those psychotic monsters that just get up at 5:30 a.m., go to the gym for an hour, and when I get home, I just think about how much I want to be back at the gym for the rest of the day. I do this like 6 times per week, which can get to be a rigorous schedule, and after a while can lead to some real burnout. And if burnout is ever affecting you too hard, well, boy, do I have something for you. Going to the gym high can be such a mixed bag depending on how high you are. Too high and you're just a slug that can't do anything. When you're not high enough, you just don't feel any different. But when you're just high enough, you feel like you have full control of every muscle fiber contraction in your body. This is when you're in the beast mode. Your focus is more acute than it has ever been in your life. By the time the next day comes, you can't get out of your bed. You just can't, you can't walk. Now, I've got a story that involves me and 2 of my good buddies, Cole and Roman. We all went to the gym high together. We smoked our weed, we dry scooped our pre-workout, we were all in the zone, cracked, completely accepting of the physical torment we were about to put our bodies through. We were at the highest level of human consciousness at this moment. We had reached full enlightenment. It was pull day, which means we had to work our biceps, our backs, and our forearms. At least that's what we planned on doing. So naturally, the first place you go is the pull-up bar to get some pull-ups in. When we got to the bar, Cole thought up a great idea. All right, guys, so I'm gonna do some pull-ups. Once I get off, someone else gets right on. When they get off, the next person gets on, and then it's back to me. We do this until we can't anymore, and the person that backs out last loses. So you'd think this wouldn't be very high stakes because there's no actual penalty besides losing. As soon as he mentioned this, I knew some real shit was about to go down at this pull-up bar because I just know these guys so well. You see, this little trio of friendship that we all have has been going on for about a decade now. If you've seen One Piece, it's like Luffy, Ace, and Sabo. The 3 of us are the most competitive fucks that I know. We had our pride on the line here. Cole jumps up and bangs out about 12 pull-ups. I jump on, I do about the same myself, and so does Roman. The second time around, we're a little weaker, but we're still going strong. We each can get out about like 6 to 8 pull-ups. Third time around, we're starting to get a little gassed. There's really no time for breaks between these sets, so we all can probably get around 3 or 4 at this time. After that, we're only getting 2 pull-ups in each for a few times around, and we add it all up, and we've done about 60 pull-ups at this time between the 3 of us. At this point, we are fried. All right, guys, we gotta make it to 100. We gotta make it to 100 pull-ups. We're almost there. We're at 60. We gotta push through. We can only do a single pull-up each before we pass it on to the next person at this point. So the time for resting has shrunken to the absolute minimum it can before somebody has to tap out. After an excruciating amount of pull-ups, we finally make it to 100 on Cole's turn. But then he stays on the bar. And after only doing a single pull-up per turn for the past like 5 turns, he looks within himself and he finds the monster. He builds enough strength to bang out 2 pull-ups in 1 turn, putting us at a total of 101 pull-ups. All right, guys, we can't just leave it at 101. We gotta go to 110 pull-ups. At this point, we can't even do pull-ups completely. We just jump up and slowly go down, and then 110 comes. And by the time it does, whoever's on the bar just does another one and brings it to 111. And then we do that all the way to 120, and then we have to go to 130, and then that goes all the way up until in total we had completed 203 total pull-ups between the 3 of us. This was the limit. We were all done at this point until we went to the dips, and then the whole thing started over again until we did 250 consecutive dips. And then we all proceeded to fucking die. I had never felt a workout this much in my life. And we went home only having done 2 exercises. And you know we had to get that post-workout Chipotle. When it's just right, weed just brings out the demon in me at the gym. Anyways, you better go to the gym right goddamn now. Bye-bye. What's up, boys? Got another video here at the end. Once again, is a thank you because we got 20,000 subscribers. It's been a long time coming to get to this point. Took us about 12 hours since the last thank you for 10K. So, here's another one. Subscribe. So not too long ago, I got pretty close with my plug to the point where I just kind of would chill at his place, smoke, and play some games with him. If you've ever been over to one of your plug's places, you know they always have the best cribs. This guy had those big old couches in his basement, the ones that kind of go all around the room in a C type shape. He had bean bags. There was even a little aquarium so you could watch fish swim around while you're off that Zaza. It's always just the prime place to be. I live in a fairly smaller town too, so this guy wasn't just my plug, but the plug. This guy would just leave the door open and let people come into his home, pick up whatever they were getting, and go on their way. So people were constantly in and out of the place throughout the night, and I got to see a lot of interesting people and interactions in this time. The thing that set this guy apart from any of the other plugs that I've ever known is the way that he makes his transactions. He's got his Cash App and his Venmo set up, of course, and he takes cash, but that was only when there was money involved. Sometimes the things this guy would take weren't even money. This guy would be trading the most random things for his weed as long as it interested him enough. Hey bro, I got this tire here. I've dismantled it from like a neighboring resident's vehicle if you're interested in that. Oh yeah, bro, that'll be an ounce. If someone comes in with a Slinky and he wants it, he'll trade it for weed. Somebody comes in with a Happy Meal from McDonald's, if he's hungry enough, he'll trade it for weed. One time, some guy came in with a fish in a bag, like those little carnival fishes that you win. He thought that the plug would want it to add to his aquarium that he had, but he just turned the guy down, which I think is pretty reasonable. This guy would collect such an amalgamation of the most random items as long as he wanted them. One of the most legendary moments was when this guy traded his PS5 and a controller with a copy of Demon Souls for a half pound of weed. We stayed up all night playing with this thing. It was a blast. We had a few friends that would stream on Twitch too, so we pulled them up on the PS5, and the plug would just type things in the chat like, if you ace this round, we'll give you free weed. He would act like he was Mr. Beast giving out money, but it was gas, bro. He was giving out weed. One of the strangest things that he traded for weed was probably a 12-piece chicken McNugget from McDonald's for a gram of weed. These guys just pulled up to buy some weed from him, and he saw they had McDonald's in their car, and I guess he was just that hungry, so he decided to make the trade. But that's not the only time that he would trade food for weed. Matter of fact, food was probably one of the most common things that he would take from people. He would even text previous customers if they would bring him food for weed, and they always would. This guy had the whole town at his fingertips. This was his own personal DoorDash service. I'm pretty sure there were even a good amount of days where he was just straight up not profiting because of the amount of food he would have people bring him would not be proportional to the cost of the weed. He was addicted to that late night Taco Bell cheesy gordita crunch, so much so that it was putting him out of business. There was even times where what he would be trading weed for were not even material objects. Hey bro, if you can do a
backflip, I'll give you some weed. All right, good job. Now do another one. All right, good job. There you go.
I was tight enough with this guy that he would even let me get in on this. And I won't lie, I'm a pretty strong young boy. I would be testing my physical capabilities with these customers. I'd be arm wrestling everyone in town on a 15-game win streak. I'd be doing push-up competitions with these random customers, racing guys up and down the streets. I was letting no one get their weed. I was the gatekeeper. No one got past me. I would be in the gym training just so these people wouldn't beat me for the weed. Except for this one dude. His name was legitimately Magnus, and he was just outmatching me in every physical way possible. He was claiming all the weed for himself. That dude was a legend. Being friends with the plug is just an all-around good experience. You get good deals on their stuff, and most of the time they're pretty cool people. There are some weird experiences, like that fish guy, but I imagine that's just exclusive to my situation. Real quick before this video ends, I want you guys to understand how grateful I am for all the support that I've been getting on these videos. It's fucking awesome. It's awesome. Thank you. Subscribe. Once you enter the demon realm of young adult life, the dynamic of Halloween shifts from candy time to party time. But that is not a memo I accepted. I still wanted to go out and collect some candy booty. I didn't want any of that booty, you know what I mean? So during my freshman year of college as a dormitory resident, I had my eyes on a different prize than my colleagues. So I'm sitting in my dorm room alone on Halloween, dressed as Batman with a fire in me to make something funny happen. There's this girl that lives down the hall I kinda knew, so my plotting started with her. My awesome plan was to go to her dorm room door and trick or treat. I'd get a few laughs, maybe a piece of candy, and I'd call that a W. So I knock on the door like,
I am Justice. Trick or treat.
Oh my god, you're so funny. I've got just the thing for you.
she gives me a Skittles bag like,
Don't eat too many.
but I'm just popping off. I had been living impoverished off PB&J sandwiches the past month, so this was essentially gold. Before I leave, she adds,
I'm having a little get together in a minute, so if you want to come over, you can.
so I'm like, sure, I'll go over, knowing damn well I'm not going back to that place. I got my loot and that's all I wanted. I get back to my room and I'm snacking on these delights, probably watching Hunter x Hunter. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh damn, I'm really high right now. The fuck? On closer inspection, these were edible Skittles, but I mean, they hardly show it. I was like, why'd she give these to me? Honestly, I was fine with eating edibles since I didn't have anything better to do, but I just thought the situation was weird. So I go back to her room to see if she meant to give these to me, and as I knock on the door, she answers it like,
Oh my god, you came. Come on in, come on in.
I had forgotten she had a little get-together I was invited to, and I didn't want to be rude and leave, so I went in, and when I saw this place, this was not how I imagined her little get-together at all. It had to have been some kind of sorority party because there was like 10 girls essentially wearing lingerie, and then me dressed as Batman. They were drinking, playing games, and I'm completely out of my element and pretty high. I'm a married man. I can't be put in situations like this. So I'm like, yo, this party is epic. I'm gonna go get some water. I fill up my glass and just sit at the kitchen counter alone, trying to think of the quickest way to get out of here. I text the big man Adam to come to the door and get me out of here. I give him the room number and I say to just open the door and ask for Batman. But I didn't get a moment to see if he replied because this girl comes up to me and sits at the counter.
Hey, what are you doing over here?
And this is when I made a decision I look back on as highly questionable. I was new to college and I didn't want to taint my name so soon and be known as the Batman guy that sat alone at the party. So what I do is I go full Batman mode and protect my identity by speaking like Batman.
I'm just thinking about criminals, you know.
Haha, that's funny. You should come over and play games with us.
It may have not been the best decision, but I ate a lot of those Skittles, and these people were drunk enough I could speak like Batman all I want without repercussions. This girl takes my arm, pulls me me over to a beer pong setup and hands me a ball. I didn't want to drink. I'm already zooted beyond belief. So I'm aiming between the cups so that the ball just hits the edge and bounces away. In this whole time, I'm just hoping that Adam got my text and would come through the door and save me. The more I miss, the more these people are chanting for me to get a ball in. Eventually, one of the balls land. I gotta drink it, and they're chanting for me to get more. So I do one more, and then they chant again for me to do one more. They just don't want me to stop drinking and getting these balls in the cups. I realized that this is just gonna keep happening forever, and I can't keep this up anymore. So I use the tried and true stalling method. I need to go to the bathroom. I check my phone to see if Adam's on the way, and I stand in this bathroom for like 5 minutes until I got out because I don't want to be in there for a suspiciously long time. I walk out and see the girl that invited me here. I walk up to her and I'm like, yo, did you know those Skittles were edibles?
Yeah, I know you like weed, so I thought you'd like that.
Huh. I guess that makes sense. Then all of a sudden, the door busts open. Adam is dressed as an Among Us and shouts, I need Batman! I'm like, duty calls. And the two of us sprint out of the party and back to my room laughing the entire way. Bruce Wayne was safe and back in the Batcave and could watch anime all he wanted without the distraction of sorority girls. I repaid Adam by giving him the rest of my Skittles and I passed out into a weed coma. Alright, that's the story. Subscribe. Bye! Are you ever sitting in class thinking to yourself, damn, I'd rather do anything? Half the time, it's not even the class itself that's uninteresting. The teacher's just an old fart person. When he opens his mouth, cobwebs and flies come out. One Tapatio sauce drop and you'll have a new teacher and a criminal charge. I've had these teachers and that's why I smoke gay-ass weed in their classes. Why did I write that in the script? So last semester, this class was Philosophy 101. I'm not gonna lie, I had a busting grade in this class, but I really didn't care about it. It was a waste of time, to be honest. This guy would just talk about some dead dude's idea for an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, I can think of most of these things on my own as an intellectual. Now, there was one day I was not having it. I snapped. I went bananas. I could not sit through another lecture talking about Socrates and his bullshit. I couldn't miss though because I needed a good grade. So I did what had to be done. I pulled out some of that good stuff. You know what I mean? That magic. In all honesty, I did way more than I should have. Every time I thought about how awful this class was going to be, I felt I wasn't high enough. So I get to the point where I'm baked like a fresh tray of cookies coming out of the oven. It was about a 5-minute walk to class from my dorm, so I started heading over, and as I'm walking, I'm realizing how high I really am. I keep staring at the floor and thinking, I'm grateful this floor is here to support me right now. Once I get in class, I sit in the back. It's a pretty big lecture hall, so I knew I could blend in easily. So once I sit down, the lecture starts and the professor pulls up his presentation. I am immersed in the way the slides look. I don't know why, but I just feel excited. I feel like this was going to be the time of my life. The professor starts talking about Descartes and says he was known for the whole phrase, I think, therefore I am. Now, the professor kept on talking, but I just kept on this phrase in my mind. I start feeling my own thoughts and asking myself, am I my thoughts or am I my body? I start asking if my thoughts are even my own or if they're someone else's. This idea feels brilliant to me. I feel like I need to express it. I raise my hand in the middle of the lecture. The professor looks directly at me and calls on me. And I think to myself, fuck, what did I just do? But there's nothing left to do but carry out my plan. So I ask, how do we know if our thoughts are really us? Then the professor just stares at me in silence for what feels like 30 seconds. I feel like it's the most obvious thing in the world that I am high right now, and this teacher is looking right at me. I feel like it's already too late. He already knows. Then someone saves me. Someone else raises their hand and the professor's attention was diverted. This guy is a hero. He's my hero. He starts taking my idea seriously and trying to debate the professor on it. Before I know it, the whole class is getting involved in this discussion, and I'm just so high I barely understand what I've started. Eventually, the hour's over and the lecture ends. But as it ends, the professor asks me to talk to him after class. Now I really know it's over for me. I walk down to the front while everyone else is leaving. I feel like a warrior marching to his grave. When I get to the front, the professor asks me, "Will you remind me of your name?" Now, I'm not gonna go down without a fight. If he doesn't even know my name, he can't report me. So I use the alias of the guy who was sitting next to me to take this fall. My name is Kyle. Well, Kyle, I would like to talk to you about your question today in class. Thank you for being so engaging and starting a stimulating discussion. So I'm gonna give you 3 extra credit points in this class. I just thanked him and headed out after giving this stranger my rightfully deserved extra credit points. After that, I actually just kept going to class high because anything I thought of or said while high would make people think I was really wise and intelligent, apparently. I think it really just goes to show how philosophy classes really are. Alright, bye! Here's a big one. You people have wanted this. My first time getting high, as it goes for most people, was a crazy experience. Now, I was at my friend Roderick's house. He's a classic guy. He's in just about every story that I tell at this point. Roderick's house was not like any other house. He lives in luxury. A luxury that a poor, under the poverty line boy like me will flip his shit when he sees. I mean, he's got a piano as you walk into his house. He's got a projector as a TV in his living room. This is the shit you see LA YouTubers live in. He lives in the Incredibles mansion. So Roderick was the weed expert that was going to show me his ways, and I was his apprentice. And this wasn't just my first time smoking weed. I should mention it was also my friend Roman's. The 3 of us were all sleeping over together this night inside Roderick's nice-ass house. Roderick was the real homie this night because he said, "We can't just smoke a wax pen on both of your guys' first time. We gotta get our hands on the real stuff." What we had to do first was acquire the weed because we didn't have anything at this point. So we were going through the process of asking everyone that we knew on Snapchat if they knew somebody that sells weed until we finally landed on one guy. We pull up to his place and it's not scary at all. But this is my first drug deal. I'm anxious in my mind. What if this dude's got a gun? What if he kills us in cold blood? But then this dude comes out of his house with these big ass goggle glasses. He looked like a real dork. This motherfucker was a certified bozo. We could have given this dude a wedgie for the weed. Once we drove off with the weed, we all just burst out laughing because we were expecting the exact opposite of this guy. We had acquired our first weed. Roman and I were just marveling at its beauty. We felt the weed, we smelt the weed, but most importantly, we wanted to smoke the weed. Before we stopped back at Roderick's, we drove to the gas station and he was like, "I'll be back in a minute. This won't take long." He comes back with a bottle of Sprite, a pack of gum, a pencil, and a straw. Yo, what is this all for, bro? You'll see, bro. You will see. So we drive back to Roderick's place, run to his bedroom, and assemble all of our stuff. Roman and I just sit back while Roderick works his magic. He drinks the whole Sprite bottle, takes a gum wrapper, and wraps it over the top. He pokes some holes in the wrapper, and then he stabs the side of the bottle and sticks a straw in. And just like that, we had our own homemade bong made. It was a pretty jank way to smoke weed, and it didn't work all that effectively, but we had to make do with what we had. We were on limited resources. So we smoked out the Sprite bottle, and I don't know what was in this weed, but it affected Roman and I in a way weed has never before since then. In my going for a walk on mushrooms video, I mentioned how the mushrooms made my vision like in Minecraft, how your FOV can increase. In my experience, that's pretty usual for mushrooms, but this was the one and only time that I've had this effect solely from weed. And it wasn't just me. Roman had the same experience with his vision. It was so weird. I don't know what was in this goddamn weed, but it had us looking at things crazy. I was so goddamn giggly too that I just couldn't get enough of these guys. I laughed at everything. It didn't stop. After you smoke a good amount of times, I feel like the giggles eventually just go away. But the first time I had the laughs. Then the fabled munchies kicked in and we had no remorse for the kitchen. We started tearing through everything like savages. There was a fruit bowl in the middle of the kitchen, so I went Don't mind if I do, and wiggled my little fingers. I picked out an apple, and there was a fly on the apple, and I don't know why, but this fly scared me. I mean, I don't fuck with bugs. So I threw the apple, I projectile tossed it across the living room, and it hit right into a framed painting and shattered the glass. I don't feel good about this even today, but luckily the painting itself wasn't damaged, and his parents were not home at the time. It was fucking loud. They would have known what happened. So we started to panic, but thankfully, Roderick is the real homie because he vacuumed up the glass for us. Lord knows, neither of our asses could have functioned a vacuum in our current state. And by this time, I started fucking up the Pop-Tarts, and I just forgot about what happened. I wasn't joking when I said we were savages. We were on a real ruffian shit. Roman went back to the room first with his snacks, and as I followed behind him, I entered the room to see that he was unclothed. He was only wearing his undies. He was sitting on Roderick's bed, eating a family bag of chips and watching YouTube videos. I feel like it's almost a universal experience where people smoke weed for the first time and search videos to watch while high on YouTube. And the same videos always just come up too. I know that you have seen this cartoon before. This video had us mesmerized. It was beautiful. We went on a YouTube binge for like over an hour or so, and I couldn't tell you how it happened, but we eventually ended up on Diary of a Wimpy Kid YouTube. We were just enjoying some classics like Greg Heffley is a Sociopath. After we got bored of YouTube, we put on some lo-fi beats, and Roderick had this light projector that put stars all over the walls, and we fell into a slumber. I was paranoid the following week or so because I thought his parents would have noticed the painting frame that I broke, but they never really did. Because of me, there's a painting with no glass in his house, and to this day, nobody has really noticed it at all. So that was the story of the first time I smoked weed. Okay, bye-bye. I haven't gotten high in school very often, and anyone who has gotten high in school would know why. It always sounds like a good idea at first, but in practice, it can be so goddamn scary. Now, this story isn't just about me getting high, but instead the whole squad was smoking in class. And under those circumstances in mind, you know shit had to have gone down, and it did. So it was the first day back to school from summer break, and it was the morning of that day before the classes had started. As the nature of the first day of school goes, I was pissed off, and so was my boy Roderick, the same guy from the mushroom story. We were pissed we had to be back in this place, but it also was sick to see everyone I didn't see over the summer. So we were greeting everyone in the grade, catching up in the hallways, when none other than the man himself, Kevin, comes through the doors, beelines straight to the two of us, and whispers in our ears, "Bro, meet me in the handicapped stall real quick. I got something to tell you." Which, may I add, is an insane way to greet someone on the first day back from summer break, but we followed him into the bathroom to see what was up. As we walked in, Kevin is standing on the toilet like he is about to give a speech to us and says, "Guys, none of the three of us want to be here. Wouldn't you guys agree?" And we nodded our heads in agreement. "Then why don't we go somewhere else?" And this guy pulls out not just one, but 3 different wax pens, and our mouths are agape. Keep in mind, I rarely smoked at this time, so to see not just 1, but 3 wax pens that this dude had brought into the school was the craziest thing I had ever witnessed. I was like, no way we're smoking right here and right now. And Kevin said, "Not yet. See, I've been dreading the first day of school for a long time now, so I've thought up a way to make it a little more interesting. I want to play a game. We each carry a pen on us for the entirety of the day. Every time somebody says some dumb shit, you have to take a hit. And if you don't get caught all day, you get to keep the pen. But if you get caught, you owe me $50. In one moment, I was going about my ordinary day in school, and in the next, I'm choosing which pill I'm gonna take. And you know, I took the green pill, and so did Roderick. I won't lie, the speech had us getting hyped in this bathroom stall. If anyone was in the bathroom at the time, I feel like they probably would have gotten the wrong idea. But anyways, we had to plan our day. We all brought out our schedules to see which classes we shared. I shared Spanish with Roderick, math I was with both, English I was alone for, in study hall I had the two of them again. But the bell rang and me and Roderick headed over to Spanish and departed from Kevin. As we walked into the classroom, we agreed we wouldn't sit next to each other, so if one person came down, the other wouldn't come down with them. And it would be easier to stay undercover, so we both sat in the back corners of the class. The class started and the teachers were going over the syllabus when this kid raised his hand and asked, "When we get our assignments, do you want our names in English or Spanish?" Me and Roderick just stared at each other from across the class after that. We knew what we had to do. As soon as the teacher turned around to the whiteboard, we took a hit, but then she turned around and we just had to hold in the smoke until she turned around again. And once I did, I started coughing loud. I couldn't hold it in that long. So I crossed my arms and put my head down, and no one thought anything of it, but it was close. The class went on and we got out of that one safe, although those wax pens, if you've ever smoked them before, hit hard. So even though I only took one hit, I was already feeling it as we walked to math. We got to the class first, and as Kevin walked in, he looked so fucked up. I was like, "Bro, what happened to you?" And all he replied with was, "It was Liam, bro." And then just took a seat before I could respond. Lord have mercy on his soul. Let me tell you, math was a dreadful class to get through. Not because of the challenge. We didn't even have to smoke once during this period. It was just the munchies, bro. Lunch was the next period, and I was fiending for that school lunch. The most entertaining thing that happened to that class was that I sat across from Kevin, staring him straight on, and he just kept nodding out of existence and coming back. This guy was on another planet, and it was only 10 in the morning. Once lunch came, I spent like $20 on snacks, but they were all out of the vending machine, which was a process I did not have the patience for. Waiting for the food to come down just felt like an eternity. The squad linked up and I tried to get more information on what happened to Kevin during first period. Can you elaborate on what happened to you earlier, bro? Liam, bro, he had to introduce himself and he said he likes kids. He didn't realize how bad that sounded, bro. But he really said it. And to be honest, me and Roderick, we just decided to take a hit right there after hearing that out of respect for what he had gone through. Once the bell rang, I started stressing because my next class was alone. I lost my supports and I had to face English class like a real stoic man. I sat down. I don't remember exactly what the question was, but I do know that some kid said something that I had to smoke to. So I had to take a hit. Then the guy next to me leans over and looks into my eyes and just nods. I was sitting next to the school stoner Bradley. Bradley saw this and asked, "Yo, can I get one, bro?" So respectfully, I handed him the pen and with no remorse for his own life proceeded to blow it straight into the air, and of course the teacher noticed and walked over. I thought it was all over for me in this moment, but he just ended up sending Bradley to the office. But the thing is that he still had my pen on him when he left. This guy, 200 IQ, outplayed me and purposefully got sent to the office so he could take the pen for himself. I don't know if that was actually his plan, but that's just what it seemed like to me. Once English ended, I walked into study hall, and this part was the hardest part of the challenge to overcome. If you've had study hall before, you know how silent the class is. So I'm trying to tell these two how I got my pen stolen, but I'm so high I cannot control how loud I'm being, and I just can't communicate what happens. I guess they both deemed that to be smokable, so they both took a hit, and as they exhaled, I couldn't help but just laugh at myself and I laughed loudly, which alerted the teacher and got Roderick and Kevin caught. But since I got my pen stolen, I got away from it. I didn't have anything on me. They got sent to the front office and I had to wait out the next hour of this class in an excruciating silence, just paranoid that somebody was gonna come after me. But at the end of the day, nothing happened of it, so I technically won the challenge and got to keep the pen. But since it got stolen, I really just got nothing. But I'm glad I won though, because if I had lost, I would have had to fork over $50 and a new pen. So I dodged a bullet there. So while I didn't get anything, at least I didn't lose.